Hi everyone and welcome to your reading. So today we're going to be talking about how you can protect your energy in the coming months, weeks, this summer, sort of whatever resonates. So I have, straight away, apologies if there's going to be noises. My cat is really wanting to be involved. So I have three groups for you guys. The first one is going to be with this amethyst stone. Okay. And with this I-Ching card. Then for group number 2, we have a clear quartz, polished clear quartz, and this card. And for pile number 3, we have the amethyst, the obsidian, obsidian stone. Also with this card. Now these are not tarot cards per se, which is why I'm not saying what they are. We will get into that in the individual readings. So if you take a moment to look at the cards and sort of see which one resonates, pick the pile. The timestamps will be linked down below. And we'll be talking about protecting your energy. Right, I will see you then. Alright guys, so for pile number 1, you've chose the amethyst stone. And this card with this lovely girl. And an elder here. So this card is actually an I-Ching card. And I'm going to let you know what it relates to. In a second. So this is a Chinese divination tool and it has very specific messages, so I'll be checking the guidebook for this. So we've got approximation, and this talks about union of forces and sort of upcoming changes and preparing, strengthening ourselves for the upcoming changes. So the in the picture, obviously, you've got the girl who is listening to someone's advice. She seems prepared for some sort of event. There's a lot of she has a lot of different elements to her outfit. And a sort of a hairstyle as well. Apologies about the focus. And they have sort of different tools prepared and things like that. And she's listening to this elder character, helping her prepare for the upcoming ceremony. So this is your main card. Now for the next messages, the decks I'll be using, first up we've got the Woodland Wardens, which is a bit of a change of pace. So I will be pulling a few messages from this deck for you. So shuffle. Now while I'm shuffling, I just wanted to point out that I actually have no idea how the sound is going to come out in this video because I haven't been recording before. So I hope you can hear everything okay. If not, I will be doing some edits. So, what messages can we have for pile number 1, please. Messages protecting the energy for pile number 1. Oh, there we go. So we've got the bobcat. Messages. And we also have the ram and the dahlia and the crow and the dogwood. I will leave them here. All right, so we've got the bobcat and blackthorn with patience. We also have the ram and dahlia with determination. And we have the crow and dogwood with intelligence. So I'm not quite sure what is it going to be that you're preparing for, but it seems it's going to take quite a lot of preparation, because we've got we've got the advice card, and then we've also have patience, determination, and intelligence. So when it comes to the bobcat with the patience, this makes me think of how every cat essentially in the animal kingdom waits before they pounce. So if you ever sort of look at how cats operate on a daily basis, they will be sitting very, very still, and then when the time comes, they pounce really, really quickly. So this is where the patience is coming up for me. We also have determination, and the ram obviously gives me Aries energy, and there is an element of stubbornness here too. And then with the crow and the dogwood, we've got intelligence. Now, when it comes to the crow, whether you want to separate the crow and the raven into 2 separate groups, it's up to you. But they do sort of send similar message to me. Ravens in mythology are portrayed as the messengers between worlds. So for example, Odin had 2 ravens that sent messages for him between different worlds, and they used to bring him information as well. Crows are also very intelligent and crows, for example, have enough of an understanding that if you sort of give them little gifts or give them food every time they bring you gifts, they will continue doing so. So you can actually train a crow. Now dogwood, contrary to how it looks like in this picture, I don't know if you can see that, but it looks like this very sort of dainty, daisy-like plant. But in reality, dogwood is actually a plant that has a very stable trunk that protects it, and it's more sort of tree-like. So these are the basic things that I'm getting for you. I am going to check the guidebook just to make sure that I didn't miss anything important. Okay. So with the bobcat, it also symbolizes that a difficult journey is ahead and it requires a preparation. It's about rationing and preparing for what's going to happen, and understanding that often the rewards at the end are going to be worth the effort, right? Then we've got, with the ram, You have power to accomplish your wildest dreams. While others might tire or lose interest, you're persistent and will see your ambitions through. So again, it's all about waiting for the right moment, about preparation, and then striking at the right moment and continuing to push through when needed. And then with the crow, nearly dropped the guidebook here. You have the tools to fulfill your goals and solve any problem that stands in your way. You need only look inward to find wisdom and strength. So again, you are very ready to take on whatever it is that you're taking on. You just need to wait for the right moment. Now, next up, I want to get some tarot messages for you. This is from a D&D tarot deck. It is not a traditional deck. Excuse this absolutely terrible shuffle. Okay, this is jumping out. So we have, I'll get to what these are in a second. Yeah, this deck doesn't like to be shuffled this way at all. So we're just gonna do, what messages do we have for pile 1, please? Okay. What messages? This one really wants to come out. Got justice. What else do we have for pile number 1, please? Alright. So we have 4. This isn't exactly what I was planning, but oh no, we've got 5. Alright. So I will push these up a little bit here so you can see. Okay. There we go. We have fit everything in. So, in fact, we're not going to do reversals here because, okay, there we go. Okay, so your first card is the 10 of Strength. And this relates to making sure you speak up and delegating responsibility. So you need to protect your energy by making sure that all of those little gremlins do not take all of your time and energy. We've got Justice, which, so it's a capacity to create a new reality for shattering old and limiting beliefs. So maybe there was something about not wanting to ask for help, or maybe help was not available, and there is a need to sort of stand your ground and make sure that you do get the help that you need, and be persistent with it. I think this is a 2 of Strength as well. Yes. So the 2 of Strength talks about growing and making progress towards a future goal, enjoying discovering what you love to do. So I think this talks about freeing yourself by delegating, by standing your ground, making sure you free yourself to be able to have time to pursue things that you find interesting as well. Then we have the Ace. We have a couple of aces, which I'll get to in a second, but this is the Ace of Wisdom in this deck, which talks about the ability to process emotions and heal ourselves. So maybe this asking for help and delegating is going to enable you to have more time for yourself and to process things for yourself. And then The last card from this deck that we have is the Ace of Intelligence. And this is about finding your inner wizard, and it has sort of a bit of a magician energy, but as an Ace of Intelligence, it talks about finding your own path and your inner strength. So I really do think that there is a message here about delegating, making sure that you're taking on only what you should be taking on and no more, and then your own personal growth. And I think that you need to be ready, you need to prepare for those sort of difficult conversations that you might need to have, and then also be determined in terms of what you want to convey. Alright, so what I wanted to do next is get some Astro card messages. So this is the Starcodes Astro deck. What messages can we have for pile 1, please? Messages for pile, there we go. So we have Uranus with change. So there we go, this is what it looks like. It's all about change. So this is what I meant, this is what I was talking about. We've got this energy of waiting for the right moment and then changing. Also, apologies about the candle, your video cut off, so we'll just put it to the side. So there's this energy that you need to prepare and then start changes and keep at them. So there's definitely that energy here. Astro codes also have very detailed messages, so I will double check that for you. So this is Uranus is all about big changes. It's not about a small shift. It's about sort of a karmic change that is going to be happening. So it's definitely a big thing coming up. All right, so the last two things that I wanted to do is first off just get into the tarot. So this also isn't, well, get into the tarot, she says. We have already looked at the tarot, but get into this D&D tarot does give me more of a feeling as if it was an oracle deck inspired by a tarot, because it has very sort of specific meanings. And while I'm shuffling, there's a lot of there is a lot of strong characters here as well. This is something that I'm noticing. There's armor, there's weapons. These look very individualistic and sort of like magical. What messages can we get? Pile number 1, please. Messages for pile number 1. What messages? So we have the Knight of Pentacles. Show it to you first. What are the messages? Oh. Okay, these go all the way to the floor. So we have 8 of Wands in reverse, and we have Strength. Okay. All right. Oh, I didn't show you the cards, did I? So this is the 8 of Wands in reverse, and we've got the strength. Okay, so again, the message that I'm getting here is that there is a need for a new start session, especially in sort of the earthy realm with pentacles, and this is really making me feel like maybe there's a lot of responsibilities that you're taking on, things like that, that you really need to shield yourself from. He's also holding a shield here and looking to the left, which traditionally talks about the past. So maybe there's something from the past that you need to shield yourself from. Excuse me. The Eight of Wands is talking about rapid action and quick movement and quick change, but it's in reverse here, which together with this bobcat tells me that that's the exact opposite of what you should be doing. You should sort of set your mind up, or make your mind up rather, set a course, make a decision, be patient, and then when the time comes, stand your ground. And when the time comes, be strong, be persistent, and sort of keep at it. So that's your tarot. So I genuinely think overall, looking at this, change is coming, but you might need to be the agent of change. And even if change is going to happen, or even if you're ready for a change and then it's caused by something external, you need to put your mind to it, and you need to sort of make sure that you're strong and that you keep at it. All right. Well, thank you for tuning in, and that's all I've got for you today. And I will see you in the next reading. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Hi, pile 2. So you've selected this card and the clear quartz crystal. All right, so the card that you have chosen talks about, this is Chinese divination tools, by the way, I-Ching, and it talks about working with others and the and how working with others in on equal terms brings good fortune, generosity, and so on. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to pull some Woodland Oracle cards for you. So what messages have we got for my pile number 2, please? All right. So we've got the bat and hellebore. There we go. What messages for pile number 2? We have the bear and cedar, leadership, and what messages? Oh, all right. So we've got 2 more. We've got the antelope and the wheat nourishment, and we also have the hare and the oak with new opportunities. All right, so what I'm getting so far is that with the bat and the hellebore, when it comes to what bats actually do, the bat is an animal that uses echolocation, so it listens. Their eyesight is not very good. They do listen to their intuition to move around. So in essence, if you were to not listen to your intuition as a bat, you would be flying blind. So it talks about actions and feelings being out of sync, and heading down the wrong path, potentially trusting the wrong people. So we do have the talking, we do have the union with other people, suggesting that we should be working with others, and then there's a warning about working with the correct people. There's also the bear and the cedar, which the bear is a very strong animal. It talks about leadership here as well. And the spirit of the bear reminds you to be fair and to be caring. And potentially, if a bear is your spirit animal, that might be guiding you into a leadership role. So maybe there is a relationship in your life that you're putting your energy towards that isn't serving you, that your intuition is telling you that you shouldn't be pursuing, but you continue at it, potentially. That's not for everybody. And maybe it's about being more caring and more sort of displaying the qualities of a leader, the sort of leader that we would all want to have. All right. Then we have the antelope and the wheat, which, by the way, the antelope is also a herd animal. They live in groups, and because of that, so wheat is about nourishment and the antelope is about nourishment, but they're about it in sort of different ways. So antelopes live in groups and they work together to nourish each other and protect each other from predators. Now, wheat is a plant that grows and provides nourishment, even if it grows on not very nourishing soil, and it is very much the cornerstone of at least the Western diet. So there's a message here to be caring and to work with others, but it's like this is not happening. There is a blockage here somewhere. And then we've got the hare and the oak, and the hare of the oak is all about new opportunities. Oak is the tree of life, so it's a very powerful plant we've got, or tree. We've got the hare is all about sort of new opportunities. They do also live in groups, and obviously they have lots of children, or little bunnies. So it feels like choosing who you work with in whatever area of your life, choosing who you interact with, and who you put your trust into, and sort of your care and attention, who you give it to, is going to be very important in the next few months or this summer. So another deck that I wanted to use is this. This is a D&D tarot deck, and it's not a traditional tarot. Alright, so we've got this card here. Okay. Dropping everything. We've got this card here. What else? We have one more message on number 2. We have one more message. Okay. All right. So so This 6, I'll have to double check which suit it's in. But this talks about our imagination. You can sort of see on this card that this boy is reading a book and he has his head in the clouds, basically just focusing his attention on these mythical creatures in a fantasy story. Because this is right below intuition, I'm wondering whether this has to do with us believing stories that other people are telling us that are not necessarily a reality. So maybe somebody is telling a bit of a tale. Then we have, this isn't a hanged man, this is number 8. And as you can see, he is trapped in a spider web. Now, this is a card that's in reverse. So I believe, I will double check, but I believe this is about freeing yourself from said spider web. Alright, so in the upright position, this is about untangling ourselves from sort of unhelpful thoughts and self-damaging thoughts, things like that. But in the reverse, that means that we are remaining trapped and we are not freeing ourselves. Okay. And then lastly, we've got this number 8 here. I believe this is the number 8 of strength. And I think this is about putting in the work and sort of being diligent. Right. I was mistaken. This is the 8th of charisma. But yes, this is about putting the work in. So this is about focusing on small things and making sure that we do them well. So there's definitely some, I want to say deception, but whether it's somebody else deceiving us, or whether maybe it's ourselves, because there's unhelpful thoughts, there's a bit of fantasy, and then there is the intuition in reverse. So, and then also it feels like separation. So what I'm wanting to say is that maybe you have felt that you need to take a step back from the people around you, and this is definitely not the case. Spending more time with people and becoming more of a member of a community is definitely going to help here. I do wonder whether there's a little bit of maybe a mental health sort of angle to this. This is not for everybody. And if there is, I do obviously understand this is very difficult. So I think this is where this last card comes in, the one about just focusing on small things. I know that it doesn't look like she's doing a very small thing, but looking at the day-to-day, what can you do, and what small successes can you celebrate for yourself? Alright, so the other thing that I've got for you, I'm going to pull one last card, is an Astro card, Starcodes. So what message do we have for pile number 2? Message for pile number 2, please. All right. 7th house, relationship. Yeah, so it's just what I've been saying with not feeling like you have to isolate yourself, not feeling like you have to hide away, but in fact reaching out to others and living a little bit more sort of in a community and so on. You can see that they're holding hands here. Okay, right. So it's all about making relationships a little bit more balanced, for example, by giving your partner a little bit more attention if you've got one. If it's not a love connection, then just putting more time and more energy into relationships with others. As I say, becoming part of a community. Right? And lastly, got one more deck. What last messages do we have for pile number 2? Please. Okay. So we have Temperance. Right, sorry about that. Your video cut off. But you've got Temperance in reverse. What else for pile 2? We've got the Devil. One last message for pile 2, please. Alright, you've got the King of Cups. Alright, so again, when it comes to Temperance, it's like there is no serenity surrounding the situation. There is a lot of sort of worry, and as we talked about before, with the different thoughts that you might be having, sort of maybe some intrusive thoughts, maybe some self-limiting beliefs. We've got the Devil, which can talk about illusion, it can talk about addiction, it can talk about all sorts of different things. So being compelled to sort of be in that trapped state for one reason or another. And then we've got the King of Cups at the end. Next to the 7th house with relationship and sort of the new opportunity which we were talking about being blocked. So I wonder whether there is someone that would be willing to enter your life, but if for some reason you don't think that this is a good idea, you're not willing to go for it, not because of anything that's wrong with them, but because you have some self-limiting beliefs, which you definitely should do your best to free yourself from them, and sort of there is absolutely no need for that. We have so much criticism from other people in our lives, all of us. There is no need to put ourselves down as well. So this is the message for you. Apologies about the noises, my cat in the background. But yeah, so thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in another reading. Bye! Hi, pile number 3. So you chose this card. This is a Chinese divination to I-Ching, so I will be checking what this means specifically, but it does give me tower vibes, so there's definitely something about that. And then we have, you also picked the obsidian stone. There we go. So I'm going to place it right here. Now, it's interesting because protecting your energy is obviously the topic that we're talking about, but also obsidian is a very protective stone. Okay, so this card is all about opposites coming together and a temporary peace with the opposing side, if you will. So maybe there's some conflict that you can free yourself from, but we'll see what the 30 cards say. So the first deck that I'll be using is the Woodland Wardens Oracle. So what messages can we have for pile number 3, please? What messages for pile number 3? Okay. It's interesting because so you've got the Bobcat and the Blackthorn with patience, and pile number 1 also got this card, but I feel like it was in a bit of a different context. We will see what the further cards say. What messages have we got? So I see this one. Got the Rooster and Sunflower with communication. And how can pile 3 protect their energy, please? Alright, and we have Deer and Oat with healing. So what I'm getting from these cards so far, alright, is that obviously we started with talking about opposing sides and sort of burying the hatchet, if you will. And I do see that in the following elements. We will talk about, I'm seeing several things here. So first off, we've got patience. And this is about picking the right moment to act. But in conjunction with the other cards, I think this is giving us a little bit of a different message here. So we've got the Rooster and the Sunflower with communication. If you think about roosters, they literally scream every morning. And sunflowers are very... you can see what's going on. You can see where the sun is because they move with it. You can see sort of how they're doing. And I will have a look at sort of whether there is any further details in the guidebook. But the other thing that I'm noticing on these two cards right off the bat is that they're both looking sort of to the left, which traditionally this is looking at the past, and also this is this sort of energy of working with others. Now, the Rooster also talks about position of authority and being well suited for leadership, and how clear and concise communication is really important. So maybe there's a situation that's really really draining because maybe there's some conflict. It gives me sort of, family drama vibes, but it doesn't necessarily have to be that. And maybe you need to have patience, but then if you communicate clearly, you can be the leader in the situation, not in the sense of telling other people what to do, but you can lead by example. You can sort of initiate positive change. And then with healing, this deer is very illuminated here, which maybe is telling, but the deer these particular deer lose their antlers every year and regrow them. So it's about being able to fall and stand back up again over and over and over again. Oat is also it's a plant that grows in soil that isn't necessarily nourishing, but by itself it is incredibly nourishing. So there's definitely, I feel like if you do your own healing, you're going to be a healing presence to others in this situation, and where patience and communication needs to be applied to this solution of putting down the weapons and sort of working together for a while. There's healing. If you look at it, the healing is moving forwards, the deer is looking to the future. Okay, so let's see if we can figure out further messages for you. All right, so further messages for pile number 3. Okay, so we've got the 4. I believe this is 4 of Pentacles, but we will double check in reverse. Yes. For pile number 3. Okay. So I've got the 10. Let's say of Swords. What is the further message? Pile number 3, please. Protecting their energy. Okay. We've got Death in reverse, which is interesting. And can we have one more card, please? One more card for pile number 3. Okay, just wanted to come out. So we have number 5. Okay. So this isn't a traditional tarot deck, so I will very quickly use the guidebook here. Because the arcana don't quite relate exactly to what we might be used to. Alright. So the first card, number 4, is the 4 of Charisma, and it talks about being careful with finances while not being greedy, and this is in reverse. So there's a feeling here about somebody not being careful with finances. Maybe this is what's causing this conflict, or maybe somebody is being greedy. Then we have number 10 here. Oh gosh, okay. Everybody wants to speak. So there we go. So this is about how we deal with things that show up in our life, whether we avoid and deny things, or whether we act in anger, whether we remain conscious and aware. Now, considering the fact that it's looking in the same direction as this deer, I think the path forward is, as I say, to heal and to sort of try to rectify the situation. And just so we're clear, healing and leading by example doesn't mean that we accept accountability, or rather maybe accountability, but not the responsibility for anything that happened. We've got the Death in reverse, which is about the transition of one perceptual reality from another. And what I would like to say in this particular message is that just because we choose to act differently and address the situation differently does not mean that it changes what happened. Okay, this is important. And last thing is about, this is about paying attention to the present moment above all else, and choosing to work together, letting go of competition. So maybe there has been some competition in the past and it caused some issues, but it's about not justifying, but accepting what happened, and choosing how to move forward with it, sort of regaining your power. So what further messages do we have for pile number 3? You've got 2 here. Water piles only go 1. So we've got Pisces with sensitize. There we go. And we also have Venus with beloved. Okay, if you can hear my cat in the background, I do apologize. He does get very chatty if he doesn't get his attention for a little bit. Right, so Pisces in this particular deck talks specifically about merging 2 points of view. So there is different individuals have different perceptions, and we do need to learn how to work together with other people in our lives, and this is definitely about that. And then with Venus beloved, this is a very beautiful card as well. Venus is the planet of love, and obviously there is beloved as the title. And this is all about a loving heart, but also benevolence, which sort of makes me think of royalty, in the sense that you can have a benevolent king, and we were talking about leadership positions. So you really need to step into your queen energy and be benevolent, be sort of understanding, show love to yourself and others. Just because you're showing love to somebody doesn't mean that you accept everything that they do. There's definitely still space for boundaries. Right. So what I want to do next is just get some last messages from a tarot deck. Sort of a little bit more traditional, but not entirely anyway. So what messages do we have for pile number 3, please? Okay. So we have the 3 of Swords. If it will decide to focus. Right. And 3 of Swords is all about conflict. So what have we been talking about? Then what other messages? Number 3, please. Oh, right. We've got 3 of Cups. And we also have the Queen of Wands. All right. All right, so as I said, the 3 of Swords talks about conflict. Now, 3 of Cups normally talks about community and celebration, but it's in reverse here, so it feels like it might have been a bit of a stressful time. Either there's been a lot of conflict in the community, or it just felt isolating, and this definitely has been something that you've been going through. And then we've got a Queen of Wands energy. And this, excuse the noises, my cat is going crazy. The Queen of Wands is all about having the courage and determination to go forward with something. So and finding joy in things as well. So I really do think this is about having the courage to bury the hatchet, to link those different points of views, and really find the joy in being able to deal with the situation in a healthy way. Again, doesn't necessarily mean accepting all of the responsibility or anything of the sort. So I hope this was helpful, and that's all I've got for you today. I hope to see you in another reading in the future. Thank you very much. Bye.